Hi there. After this lesson, you should be able to find and interpret the rate of change and initial value of a linear function from a graph. Let's take a look at an example. Lewis is going to visit his grandparents in Arizona. The linear function below shows the number of miles Lewis drives over a period of 5 hours. Find and interpret the rate of change and initial value. The initial value of a function is the value of y when x is equal to 0. You may remember this as the y-intercept. When x is 0, we see that y is 80. Therefore, we found the initial value. It's 80. This tells us that before continuing his drive, Lewis already drove 80 miles. Now, let's find the rate of change. The rate of change tells us how one quantity y changes in relation to another quantity x. In this case, it will tell us miles per hour. To do so, we will pick 2 points from the graph and determine the ratio of the change in miles to the change in hours, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And yes, this is just the slope formula. We plug in 200 minus 120 and 3 minus 1 to get 80 over 2. This reduces to 40, and it tells us that Lewis is driving at a rate of 40 miles per hour. Based on this information, we can also answer additional questions about Lewis's trip. How many hours will it take Lewis to get to his grandparents at this rate if he must drive a total of 360 miles? We can set up an equation in slope-intercept form and solve. We know from the last slide that the initial value is the y-intercept, so we replace b with 80. And the rate of change is the slope, so we replace m with 40. We want to know how many hours x it will take to drive 360 miles. Simply plug in 360 for y and solve for x. So let's see. First, subtract 80 from both sides to get 280 equal to 40x. Then divide both sides by 40 to get 7 equal to x. It will take Lewis 7 hours to get to his grandparents. Okay, it's your turn. Leah's mother is frosting cookies for her Halloween party at school. She asks Leah to finish frosting the rest. The linear function below shows the number of total cookies frosted after Leah takes over. First, find and interpret the rate of change and initial value, then determine how many total cookies will be frosted after 25 minutes. Okay, let's take a look. The y-intercept is 20. So the initial value is 20. This means that Leah's mother had already frosted 20 cookies before Leah took over. Next, we will choose 2 points to find the rate of change. Using our formula for slope, we get 40 minus 20 over 10 minus 0, or 20 tenths, which reduces to 2. This tells us that Leah is able to frost 2 cookies per minute. Great. Now how many cookies will be frosted after 25 minutes? Remember, we can set up an equation in slope-intercept form to help us. So far, we know the initial value, or y-intercept, is 20. The rate of change, or slope, is 2. And we want to find the number of y cookies that will be frosted in 25 minutes, which we'll put in for x. All right, let's solve. 2 times 25 equals 50, and 50 plus 20 equals 70. After 25 minutes, there will be a total of 70 cookies frosted. Nice work!